Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Slicey Boy Saturday here on the Ohio Patriot Network YouTube channel. I'm as large host, the Ohio Patriot, and for today's episode, we are going to be discussing a bunch of new folding knives for 2026 that include D2 steel, 14C28, and 8cr14mov, which is obviously a lesser quality, but it was also like $10, so there you go. Before we get started with the new stuff, though, I do want to go over one knife that I noticed was sitting over here from last year that I had sit on the table, which is this Zhenning, I think that's how you pronounce it, or Zenning, something like that. Zanging. So I think I bought this last year when it was on sale for like 14 or 15 bucks, maybe. I know it was less than 20 for sure. Right now, obviously, it's their sale price is like 30, give or take, which is ridiculous. Because I noticed something with the reviews on this, and it's something that I personally have had an issue with too, as well with this. But the thing I do like about this is that it does have a nice little hard case that it comes with. It comes with a bunch of stuff there, is what it is. Got little stickers, little knife sticker, etc. And then they got the blade here, is what it is. The issue with this knife, being that it does or even on sale for like 26, 27, whatever it is right now. So it's a pretty beefy knife. Interestingly enough, this is the only D2 knife I've ever seen. Because mind you, all these are made in China. But this is the only one I've ever seen that specifically states Cryo D2 on it, and then it has obviously China written on the back of it. So you have multiple ways to deploy this. You have the flipper tab, you have the thumb studs, and you also have the actual tabs for the thing. The issue with this is that I don't know if they just over tensioned the thing and just didn't put any lube in it or what it was, because it is extremely hard to pop out beyond that point. And then, like, it's actually decent when it's out, obviously. Like, it's got a nice little jimping there, is what it is. And it's a pretty good blade. It fits my hand almost perfectly, is what it is there. The issue is that when you're actually trying to open or close it using the side tabs, it does not want to do anything beyond that point, is what it is. Like, it'll basically just get stuck, and then you feel it's like sticking, basically, is what it is right there. And you have to literally push it back down, is what it is. So that's a huge fatal flaw, honestly. Especially for a knife that costs, anywhere from like $25 to $30 right now, is what it is. Would I ever pay that for it at that price? No. Did I pay about half that for it, give or take? Yes. And that's the issue. Like, and again, I think it could easily be fixed through, like, them just having like an actual canister that has like lubricant there, and then they could just, like, when they're building these damn things, just like take a finger swipe into the can or whatever it is, and then just like swipes them around the fucking points of the thing, is what it is there, like the various ball bearing areas and things like that, and you'll be fine. And maybe like loosen the tension a little bit on the things, what it is then. So, but yeah, I've noticed with the reviews people put out on this knife in the past like several months now, is what it is, that it's all the exact same thing, and I'm seeing with this right now, is what it is. Just like, I guess it's just like a standard bear, is what it is, where they just like over tension their stuff or something like that, or maybe it's machinery doing it, who knows. But it needs to be like torqued back like 1 or 2 is what it is then, and it would be a much better overall blade, is what it would be then. So, that being said, moving on to some new stuff. We got 5 other blades here. Or no, sorry, 6 other blades here today. Starting out, we got what came in this little guy right here, which is this crazy bottle cap opener D2 knife. So, the main reason I bought this is because I thought it was going to be a dual-sided blade again. Of course, it's not. It's only one-sided. It's an interesting, like, sticky grip on there, is what it is. Obviously, when it's not deployed, it's a bottle cap opener thing where you can literally put it around a bottle and just, like, pop the cap open, is what it is then. And then when it actually is deployed, which goes that way, it becomes a teeny little blade, which it claimed to be D2, and I'm like, is this D2? Because it doesn't really seem like D2. Like, it seemed pretty like meh But then I actually, you know, took it against the paper and did a couple cuts. And yeah, sure enough, it does. It does slice pretty good, is what it is. So yeah, that one wasn't the greatest. Well, this paper is kind of flimsy. Yeah, it's got a decent little cutting edge there, is what it is. So it's not bad at all. And I think this was around like $7 or something. And then obviously, if you want to close it up, then you just simply push to the side there, and then just simply pop it around then. So it's a cute little knife. It's a cute little deal. The only thing I guess I was going to say, the only thing I dislike of it, the fact that it does not have a, it didn't come with a, what do you call it, like a piece of paracord there to put through that, to have in your pocket. That's what it is. So, but yeah, not a bad little thing. And, you know, if you're out with your buddies and just need like a bottle cap opener, like, works fine for that, obviously. If you really need a blade, like, it'll work for that too as well, what it is. But, you know, don't expect anything spectacular as it is there. So, it's a cute concept. I think it could have been better designed, honestly. It could have been like an OTF, honestly. So, again, it is what it is. Moving on from there, we have a new knife company called KNYXPP, and this is a D2. This is the one that I got on my birthday, actually, which it's interesting that it had bubble wrap around it, and then it also has a little, what you call it there, this is an access lock. I think this was around like 10 or 15, if I'm not mistaken, when I bought it on sale like a week and a half ago or so, give or take. So, flipper tab deployment, not bad, not quite as good as the Walmart ones. Also, the lack of the fact that it does not, or is this D214C28M? I'm not sure because it doesn't actually say it on the knife, which really does bother me, actually. Like, you would think if you're going to put a quality knife steel in there, like, I don't know, either, you know, like right there across it, put like D214C28N, or put it like right in the corner there, like where the piece meets the blade there, what it is there. So let's go check, I'm going to go check Amazon real quick on this one, because I do want to know exactly what knife steel is actually supposed to be. Because I do believe it is supposed to be at least D2 anyway, but it could be 14C28N. So let me check my stuff here real quick. Here it is. Okay, this is D2. Okay. And unfortunately, it's not currently unavailable, so I'm not exactly sure how much I even pay for the damn thing. So I think it was a good sale, like under 20, honestly. So, but yeah, it does bother me a little bit. Like, you would think, and the thing is too, like, you could easily put it on the handle too, right there. Like, I could just do like a D2 right here on the handle or something like that. What it is. But overall, interesting looking knife. Got a little orange piece there. That's kind of a bit of jimping there, is what it is. Got your little jimp ramp right there, is what they call those things. I'm not sure what the actual name for them is, if there is a name for it. But yeah, not too bad in the hand. Except for, obviously, the pinky. When it tucks down into that, like, it needs to be a little bit different, obviously. But overall, not bad. Let's do a quick slice with this guy. Yep, pretty good. Pretty good slicing. Let me double fold this and see if I can't do a half decent cut that way. Oh yeah, definitely has a decent edge to it for the D2 blade steel. So, yep, not a bad knife, like I said. Obviously, if it comes back in anytime in the future for a sale or something like that, I'll definitely give you guys a heads up. But yeah, I would say the only drawback to this one is the fact that it does not have D2 written anywhere on the blade itself, is what it is, which is bothersome because, you know, you would think if you're actually making like a quality knife, like, you know, add that to it or something else, dude, like do an engraving on there or something. So, But yeah, phenomenal. Definitely decent little pocket knife. There's what it is. So downgrading for a second, we are going to go to a lesser blade quality, which is the 8cr14mov, aka the EMTHII, which I've had issues with these before, with their access locks. You guys may remember I did one of the episodes before where it was I think it was a DT version of the knife or something, and it just did not want to open at all for some reason. And I'm not so sure this one wasn't sent back and then repackaged and then sent to me as like a new knife, because when it came in like this, but it also came in wrapped up in like a weird like plastic Amazon package is what it is there. So pretty bulky blade in general. The issue here obviously is that you have your access lock deployment, you have your thumbstud lock deployment. When you actually try to pull back on the access lock, it is so stiff, it is almost impossible to do without doing multiple fingers, and even then it doesn't really want to wiggle free. So you're basically forced to crack it open like that. It's a pretty big butcher blade for sure. Like if I was going to go, I think honestly if I was going to go out in the woods and do stuff, I might take this with me just as like a cutting knife for like various like stuff. Like if I was making like food or whatever. Interesting bunch of jimping everywhere on this. You got a little bit of jimping there on the blade. You got a bunch of jimping right here on the thing. And then you got a bunch right there on the thing for various striker points. So it is pretty decent and also fits my hand very, very well compared to other knives. Like I said, the only issue is that it might just be that it needs to get like a little bit, like just take like a screwdriver attachment piece that I have on one of the things right now, and maybe push this back a little bit, or maybe just like not even do that, but just like shove a bunch of oil right into here, and then maybe like right in the back here as well as what it'd be. Maybe that'll keep it from like being all stiff like that. Because yeah, even trying to, and then the nice thing obviously with that is it does have the 14 or 8cr14. So, but yeah, it's like really, really, really hard to get down to where you literally have to like push it back down is what it is. It's very similar to that Xinjiang, whatever you call that one company. So that's the only drawback to it. But then again, it was also like a $10 knife, so I can't complain too much about it. Now, granted, that being said, I could totally complain about the D2 version of this knife because that thing cost me like $20-something and had the same fucking issue. So again, I think it's just these companies just not doing their due diligence and doing like a quality inspection on this, what it is there, to make sure the knife isn't like, you know, stiff or whatever the case be. And again, like I said, like a little bit of oil here and there. Like I'd honestly rather pull this out of the package and have it be a bunch of oil on my fingers, whatever the case be, and knowing that the blade's going to be able to easily pop up and whatever the case be, than to have it be a situation where it's not going to do that stuff, obviously. So, but yeah, just irritating in general. So, that being said, moving on, we got 3 more knives to go. We got a new CCFFCC, which this is a similar, you guys may have remembered I got a green one recently. This is basically the red version of that, same knife, because it was on a better sale as it was. So I was like, all right, I need to pick one of these up for, because I like the green one. I'm like, let me pick one of these up for a family member. And I'm going to give them for a Christmas present or not Christmas present. It's going to be a birthday present later this year, it will be. So, but yeah, same kind of crazy jumping along the ridges there. Got this nice little flippy thing. And then, actually, the only thing with this one, it seems like maybe there's a little, when I was popping it open, it almost seemed like this was a little bit loose or something back here. Maybe not, though. But yeah, this thing's crazy. It's like a fillet knife, basically. And I could easily see using this in the field for, like, gutting a fish or, like, scaling a fish or whatever the case be if we're out fishing. So, because it is super, super duper sharp. Very, very, very pointy edge. And then, just to show the actual true sharpness of this knife, I'll do a nice little cut test here. You guys know that one to cut the way it should be cutting. That's a better cut. Yeah, problem is these do not really want to give it this due diligence of what it is there. So we'll just put it through the, yeah. It can maybe use like just like one swipe through something is what it is. But overall not bad. Like I said, that could easily be a fillet knife. So, and you know, for like roughly around 20 bucks, like not a bad blade at all. Would this be the kind of knife I'd want to do a knife fight with? Probably not, honestly. But again, if you're out doing like camping stuff, or even using it, like not even using it for fillet knife, but using it for like maybe like cutting into like meat or something like that, it could be good for that, obviously. So, yeah, I may try that later, honestly. But I made some sausages and some eggs for breakfast this morning. And I don't know if it's the sausage grease or what it was, but it's just like, you know, like that's how I feel. So this ain't gonna be too much longer after I do the next two blades, obviously. So we got two new blades. We got this one from Clacken, which is a new company. That good old 704 Tactical / 704 Gear was the one that was doing that stuff. This is obviously his blade company that I got one of these from, which is the Urban Ranger. And we'll do that one last because the 14C28M. This Clacken one, that is a brand new one, is a D2. I can't even get this to pop out of here. Jesus. Yeah, what's interesting about the Clacken one here is that obviously you got a bunch of stuff in the thing with it. You got its little tabby thing for its QR code. You got a nice little cloth with its little clacken thing on there is what it is. And then you got the actual blade itself, which is in this cool little pouch pocket thing, which can obviously be put to your belt like that, what it is. And I might carry it like that, honestly, at some point. So simply opens like that. And then you got your blade in there is what it is. Just like most of the others here, we got a reversible clip on this one. You actually got your little Clacken name on the back of it there. What's nice about this one is I feel like this is G10 handles on this, and this does feel very good in the hand. Obviously, you got your little D2 symbolization on there. Just a simple flipper like the rest. Very smooth, though, I will say, by comparison to the others. I think this is only like 15 or 16 on sale, if I'm not mistaken, recently. So, the only drawback I do have with this knife is that there is no jimping on the blade itself, is what it is. That being said, there is a little bit right here. It's not too distinguishable. Like this would, I think, honestly, if you're going to use this to do like a fire start and like scrape off or whatever, it would be very hard to do so because this definitely feels very smooth, and you can even see it's like much smoother than the rest of them are, obviously, which is maybe why I feel so much better in the hand. So this might become an ADC at some point. I'm not sure yet. And you will notice too, comparing the smoothness of this to everybody else what it is there, you can actually tell right at the top there's actually a little bit of oil coming off of it where it was oiled up in the blade is what it is there, and the pivot points and stuff. So good on these people for doing their job as a knife company and actually giving an oil up to their knives before they send them out. And that's the problem with a lot of these other companies. I think is what it is. They're not doing that. Or it could be, too, they actually are doing that to begin with. But then it's sitting in a warehouse for so long that it's not being properly maintained in that box. And so you end up having a situation where you basically have a good knife that is not, properly oiled when it comes to the person is what it is then. And it becomes a real shitty knife is what it is then. So do a little blade cut test here is what it is with this. Again, kind of wants to do the little weird cutting. Let's try it sideways there. Oh yeah, that's a good knife cut. Yeah, it's kind of a shitty one. That is smooth. So yeah, definitely a decent little blade for sure. I do like the look of this too, because I'm not sure. I don't think this would be considered a drop point, but I could be wrong. It seems like it's a different kind of like point coloration or a point on it there, but it looks nice though. I will say that. Like this kind of reminds me of like a pirate knife, where it's like "Arr, matey, I'm here for the buried treasure." So, which makes sense given the fact that it is a company called Klacken. So, but yeah, I could definitely see buying another one of these for somebody in the family at some point in the future, as long as I can get it on a deal or whatever. But that being said, for now, this is my own personal one. My neighbor guy's up right now. You guys heard noise from that direction, which would have him because I'm like 100% sure there's still nobody back here is what it is, and I doubt that there will be until at least the first of next month would be my guess. So if it got rented out before then, I'd be surprised. Really hard to shove all this shit back in here, honestly. Try and fold it over there and then put it back in that way, maybe. That'll work. Alright, that works. Kinda. Yeah. Alright. Interesting, that little Klacken gear thing here was talking about different blade stuff. And there's a little table of contents thing about how to keep your blade good is what it is then. That's cool. Alright, finally, last knife of the day is the 704 Bourbon Ranger 14C28N kind of steel. There's a little 704 pack here. And it's got a bunch of stuff in here with it. Obviously, you got your little knife itself. Got your little 704 monogram towel. And then seems like one of these is already sticking to something. You got a 704 little sticker, different 704 sticker that was sticking, and then your lifetime warranty card. So, shove all the rest of that back in there for the time being. All we need to get out is the knife. Interesting handle on here. I'm not sure if this is G10 or not. It definitely feels different though than the last companies did. It's more rough. Let's check and see if this will easily pop out for me. Interesting, it's not really wanting to. There it goes. Yeah, not a bad little blade. That looks more like a regular point. Or like teardrop, I guess is what I'd say on that one. And again, you got your little 14 Shady 28N on there. This is a little small for my hand. That is the only drawback to it. I may end up giving this away to somebody in the family just because of that. Because I did not realize how small this is going to be in my hand. I thought it was going to be slightly bigger than that. Because really it needs to be about maybe that much longer for me to get like a real decent grip on it then. And not feel like my pinky's about to fall off is what it is there. So, yeah. This would not be an EDC for me at all. But let's go ahead and check the actual blade cut on this. See how it actually slices. Yeah, not the greatest. Okay, that was better. Yeah, got a decent little edge on there. So, again, I'm sure if I did this with a better cardstock, it might look better on camera, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it's not a bad little blade. Like I said, just a little small for my big old meat claw. Doesn't really fit the way it needs to. Really, it'd be better if there was like I said, maybe just like a little, maybe like a ½ inch more handle material there. So, and then there's definitely an issue with these. Oh my god, dude. I'm not even so sure I can close. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, that was a real. It's like it needs like doubly lubed or something. Oh, there it just falls now. Huh. Yeah, it's like looking at it, it's almost like the inner core piece there is not sitting right. Maybe I'll have to lube that up a little bit more and see if it doesn't figure it out then or whatever there. So, it is what it is. Because you can tell there's a lot of lube in that bag too, so. Which is surprising that it has that kind of stiffness issue though, if that be the case. But who knows, man? Even the best knife companies aren't the greatest, obviously. But again, this was a sale price. I think this was like $15 or something like that. It was, so that's the only reason I got it. And I do like to support the guy that actually, you know, gives me a bunch of the knife deals. Is what it is there. So, but yeah, that being said, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And if you can find them, we will talk about that for a second. The old Ozark Trail orange flipper, which is super easy to deploy. At least this one is anyway. So I still can't believe I found a bunch of these for $8 a piece. Like that was such a good deal for these, man. So I know that people were talking about the ones that came out this year too that were the $8 ones, because this is obviously normally $10. It was supposed to be. The ones that came out this year, all these different. Let me grab the pouch that I have down here for everybody. All these various guys, like the Ridgeline and all that stuff like that is what it is there, and the Thunderhead and everything. People were saying about how if Walmart was smart, what they would do instead of doing like upgrades and stuff like that eventually over time, they would simply start out with a D2 steel on these knives and just pay them, just like charge $10 for them across the board. That's what it is. And that way you have a better blade overall instead of having it be like, you know, a 8cr14mov or something like that, or an 8cr14mov. Like you just do like a D2 or potentially a DC53, honestly, for that matter, and do like a $15 version or something like that, or maybe a $20 version. So that's one thing I have realized with a lot of these knife companies, though, is that I have not once yet seen a knife company where it is a folding knife that is in DC53 steel. It's only in fixed blades as far as I'm aware right now, or at least from what I've seen, it's only in fixed blades. So maybe there's a knife company out there that has DC53 for their blade. Maybe that knife costs like $100 or something crazy like that for a folding knife, which I would never pay that for because that's fucking psychotic. But yeah, like I said, when you can get decent blade for 10 to 20 bucks, honestly, like, why are you paying 70, 80 bucks for that knife is what it is then, dude, unless you really want some knife company's name brand on it is what it is there, which in many cases that's what you're paying for. You're paying for name brands. Like your Kaiser or any of those ones like that. Like you're just paying for a name. You're just paying for a name, dude, at that point. It's no different than most of these other ones is what it is. In fact, I would say some of these other ones are actually better than this ones. So anyway. On that note, I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow night on Honda's chat, but I could be wrong about that one. I'm not sure if I'll be one or not. Other than that, I don't think I'll be back for any kind of chats for at least a few days anyway, unless something political happens and I just want to discuss something or whatever the case be then. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try to get an invite to Matt's chat tonight and just bullshit with those guys, whatever the case be on his channel on Never Enough Ammo. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm debating about that one. Like, obviously, I could just do a freak out grandstand tomorrow if that be the case, because obviously it's the second anniversary of Mom's passing, and how I hate government at this point because they literally murdered her, is what it is. And they also murdered a lot of other people too, for that matter. So, but I was not aware that SHOT Show was going on right now. Or is it going on right now? Now I gotta go look that up. Thanks a lot. So, yeah, when this should, okay, it's next week. So it starts next Tuesday and next Friday. So it seems to me like a lot of companies would be having their new guns out nowadays, is what it does then. Well, maybe I'll look into some stuff and see if we in fact have some new pistoles and stuff like that out to be. So yeah, maybe I'll look into that and just do a grandstand on that if that be the case then. But other than that, though, I'm gonna go right now. I'm gonna go probably play some video games actually, and then just chill out for the rest of the day, as it'll be. And I'm assuming that the apple juice will be shooting through me pretty quick, is what it is there. So I definitely want to finish up before that happens. So, anyways, have a good one, y'all. Stay safe, stay vigilant, all that good stuff. And always make sure to have a knife in your EDC. Like, basically, I'm going to do an EDC drop one of these days, probably as a Slicey Boy Saturday episode. And we'll discuss the various knives that I would actually be carrying at any given time. Obviously, my main carrier right now is that Flessa that I got last year that was like $33. And mostly the reason for that is it's one of the only knives I own that actually has a window breaker on it that can break through windows. And you should always have it on you, no matter what. Like, I don't care if it's a knife with a window breaker on it or if it is just an actual window breaker on your person then. Because you never know when you're going to be in a situation where you could have a car crash. You could be in something where you got to get somebody else out of a car crash, for that matter. And you're going to need something to break those windows with to save a life, whether it be your own or someone else's, for that matter. And you're better off to have something on you at all given times just to make sure that you can do that, obviously. Versus, people out there that are like, oh, no, it's never going to happen to me, or it's never going to be, whatever the case be. Okay, well, think about how many people have now died because they drowned in a random river by going off of it in their vehicle in the middle of the night, or even the middle of the afternoon for that matter. And it just, overwhelmed them because they didn't have window breakers with this there. They didn't have a knife with a window breaker on it then. And yeah, now you have these people that are doing the various search and rescue stuff, and they're locating their vehicles with their bodies in them then. And whether it be an actual blooded body or whether it be skeletal remains because it's been so long. So yeah, it's always better to have either a window breaker or a window breaker with a knife attached to a knife. on your person at all given times. Because if you don't have that, like, what are you really doing, man? Not to mention the fact that, like, it's not like every vehicle is the old ones. Like, you can actually roll down a window or something like that and get out. Most vehicles nowadays are completely powered by electricity. So once the electrical part of the vehicle goes out, man, you're fucked. Like, you're literally in a coffin at that point. You're in a tomb. So, yeah, you should definitely have either a knife as a window breaker on it, or you should just carry a basic window breaker with you as part of your EDC is what it is then. And I will go over a couple of those probably in a coming episode, actually, because there is a couple window breakers I bought last year for my family members. I was going to give them for Christmas, never got a chance to yet because I didn't get a chance to get together for Christmas over there. So most likely in the coming months, though, when I see them again, I will hand them various things for their Christmas gifts and stuff like that, belated birthday, or like an early birthday gift or something else. It will be then. And it'll be window breaker stuff and other things like that's what it is there. So, but yeah, basically my personal EDC right now, got my gun in there, got multiple knives, lighter, fire striker. Obviously one of the knives has a window breaker on it. I have my wallet, I have my phone, I have extra mags for my gun in my pocket, and I'm trying to think what else I carry on me all given times. Oh yeah, OC spray, police grade. And I'm trying to think, do I have anything else besides that now? Or is that it? Knife, OC, another knife, lighter, fire starter, gun, wallet. Oh, there's a pen in my wallet. Cash, obviously, is in the wallet as well, for that matter. And so forth and so on. That's another thing, too, that people always neglect, dude. Like, you should always, my personal opinion, you should always carry at least a couple $100 cash in your dog times, because you never know, like, especially with all these, various hack attacks and everything else like that. Like, I've actually seen in the past 6 months, there's been local places where you've had complete outages at grocery stores where they were only accepting cash then. And because I had cash on hand, I was able to buy some stuff where everybody else there was not able to. Because they're like, what do you mean the credit card machines are down? It's like, yeah, dude, this is why we don't want a cashless society is what it is now. And you should never have a cashless society because it's that exact reason. You can have a power failure, you can have a hack attack against the grid, et cetera there. So I think I'm probably going to add a tourniquet to my carry bag that I have with me at all times because I have extra mags and stuff in it too. So if I do anything like that, I have tourniquets here at the place. I just haven't gotten a chance to put them together as what it is there, which I may end up carrying a second. What I might do actually is I might carry my regular backpack and have like a clip to it. And by backpack, I mean like a little shoulder bag is what it is there, like a little sling bag. And what I might do is I might clip something to it then. That would be like a little like emergency first aid kit thing, whatever the case be. I have like a little bit of first aid stuff in there and then the tourniquet, et cetera, it would be then. So. But yeah, that's going to be its own thing of me doing that someday here soon. But then again, like anymore, like I barely leave the I barely leave this apartment as it is right now, dude. Except maybe like once a week or once every 2 weeks is what it is now. So mostly it's because of my back, and then obviously if I have go get food, obviously is what it is then mostly, and then. Now with the snow and everything, and now it's supposed to be getting colder. I know it's like 30-something right now, and then it's supposed to be like in the teens and single digits in the next 2 days. Now is what it is, so it's not going to be fun. So yeah, my plan right now is I'm going to go out tomorrow and get some stuff before it starts getting bad again this coming week. And then from there, it's basically just chill out for the rest of the week. Here's what it'll be then. So... But yeah, if I was going to go out and do whatever long term, I would definitely have the bag with me all times that it is then, because that bag would be the lifesaver that it is there. And actually at that point, I might just have a bigger backpack with a bunch of stuff in it then. That would be like a go bag essentially. So, but the sling bag for sure with like an extra little like attachment to it or whatever the case be. It's like a secondary bag or pouch or whatever. And the pouch would probably have like the tourniquet and stuff like that in it, and various things like that. Maybe like a rhino bandage or something. If that'd be the case, I believe I did buy one of those last year. I think I did get an Israeli bandage last year, so I'll probably put that in there as well. So, yeah, just various stuff like that. It's good to have on hand because you never know what's going to happen. And, you know, again, like, whether it be you're saving your own life, whether it be you're saving someone else's life because of car crash, you're, you know, end up being one of the victims in a mass shooting or something like that, and then you have to, like, save your own life or save somebody else's life with your own stuff. You know, it is what it is. That being said, I think at this point, like if it was a situation where I got shot and somebody else got shot, like depending on how bad the severity of their shot was, like maybe I'll give them the tourniquet, or if I hit myself, maybe I'll give it to myself as what it is then. You know, so I would like to think I would save someone else before myself, obviously, but I think unfortunately most of society is looking out for number one these days, and it is sad because we should be looking out for each other as a society, but unfortunately you got so many psychotic lunatics out there that just want to take your life as what it is now, and yeah, it's just getting sad and bad and everything else like that. And I really think you have the Democrat Party and their idiot fucking useful morons out there that are definitely a 1-2 punch right now, because you got the Democrats, politicians that are trying to take away your gun rights, and then you got all these fucking retards on the left now that are talking about using the Second Amendment against various agents of the state, agents of the federal government, etc. there, other citizens, etc. And it's like, so basically what you're admitting to is terrorism at that point. Like, you're just a fucking idiot, dude. And that's exactly what 2A was not meant for. It was not meant to fucking kill your fellow citizens. It was meant to be with your fellow citizens against a tyrannical government, which this is not, because if it was, your dumbasses would not have the freedom of speech to do anything. You would not have the freedom of speech to go out there and do your stupid ass little protests that have turned to riots now is what it is, and terrorist attacks and everything else like that. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump actually did his job pretty soon and did a Invocation of Insurrection Act for the first time since 1992, honestly. I would personally like to see it, honestly. And I don't know if it'll happen in my lifetime or not, but if he actually wants to help Republicans win the midterms, dude, like, now's the time to fucking do it, honestly. So, but it really is a shit or get off the pot situation. Speaking of which, I'm gonna have to go that way soon, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day on this one. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out, stay safe, stay vigilant, all that good stuff. And I will be back probably sometime this week for a grandstand of some kind. If Honda does a chat tomorrow night, I'll be in his panel, hopefully. If he doesn't, it is what it is. If you guys want to know where I'll be at tonight, I will be in the comment section of the Nightmare Hunters podcast, where they will be discussing something crypto related there is what it is. And yeah, I like to listen to those on Wednesday and Saturday nights. So if you ever know where I'm at on Wednesday or Saturday nights, listen to those podcasts what it is then. So anyway, other than that, I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good rest of your Saturday, and come back next week for a new episode of Slicey Boy Saturday, where we go over probably a big fixed blade and maybe a larger folder, depending on what I can pull out or what comes in, because there's a new knife I got coming sometime in the future. It's going to be sometime between now and I think it's like March 1st is when it's supposed to be coming in, because it's being delayed from shipping and stuff. So, but it is a fucking huge folding knife, and it might as well be a damn fixed blade, honestly. And that may end up being a new EDC for me this year is what it is then. So, but yeah, look forward to that. That'll be its own episode of Slicey Boy Saturday, because we're just going to go over that only for about 10 to 15 minutes and do that as an episode. Then it'll be. So, but yeah, look forward to that in the future. And other than that, have a good one. Always be carrying your knives. Always make sure your knife is sharp. Always make sure to have a decent sharpener for your knives. And never, ever, ever try and cut things with a dull knife, because that is how you cut yourself and hurt yourself. And then you have to have your tourniquet out there is what it is. So I will see you all in the next one. Later.